Hello, hello. How is everybody? I am just getting everything all set up here. We're going to have a live class today. We're going to do our lovely card class. I'm going to show you actually 5 cards today, 3 of which you can get all of the paper materials for free simply by making a $35 purchase on my website. The link is in the description and or the comments, depending on whether or not you're in YouTube or on Facebook. On Facebook, it'll be in the comments, but on YouTube, it will be in the description. That $35 is before taxes and shipping. Hopefully everybody's having a fantastic day. It is Wednesday and it is time to do a free card class. All right, so verified I've got some sound going, but if that changes, please do let me know. I'm gonna get my comments up so I can see them if any come through. All right, so we're going to be using the Bag of Bones stamp set and dies and the Tricks and Treats stamp set for the cards we're going to be doing today. We are also using the Designer Series paper. So I'm using basically 3 different sheets out of this pack. So this main one, there's going to be 3 cards I'm showing you from this. One using this tombstone, one using this tombstone, and one using these 2 tombstones. Let me get it up a little bit higher so you can see it better. When you get the free card class, you will get one of these, and it's just at random. If you really, really, really want a specific one, you can certainly send me an email and request that, or message me. Either way would work, and request that. And if I can accommodate you, I will. Otherwise, you will get whichever one happens to go in the envelope that I send to you. In order to get that free class, again, you just need to make a purchase of $35 or more from my website. And you can certainly easily get that purchase by getting the paper and this Bag of Bones bundle, which is recently back in stock. I know the dies themselves were not available when this catalog went live. And just as a reminder, all things, if you really want it, you should probably get it, especially the Halloween stuff, because if it gets sold out again, there is a chance that it will not come back. Let me go ahead and put my face up on the screen for you a little bit so you can see me. And let's change our orientation a little bit. Oh yeah, and since we are doing Halloween, at least for the beginning of the video, let's get my my Day of the Dead mask on to go along with the cards that we're creating today. All right, so this is one of the pages that we're using. I've also already pre-die cut every full skeleton, whether it was a human skeleton, a cat skeleton, or a dog skeleton from this paper. I've even cut some of the partial skeletons, both on the sides and up top, um, for use in a variety of classes. I've actually designed 8 cards. You'll see 5 of those designs today, and then I'll show you the other 3 on Sunday if you want to come back and check that out. Although this Sunday, it's not going to be a live video on Sunday because I am going to be having a team meeting and will not be able to go ahead and go live on that day. But I will definitely do a pre-recorded video, and you can enjoy that as well. So the other is this first sheet that comes in this DSP paper pack. It is the kind that you get to cut apart and have all kinds of fun with. So there's, card front here, card front here. There's 3 separate things that can be used here. We will be using this one on Sunday, but not today. And we'll be using this one today, but this one we'll be using on Sunday. And then we'll be using these two today as well, but these two won't be until Sunday. I did not happen to use these in any cards at this point, but that doesn't mean I can't get to it in the future. So if that's something you're interested in, just keep an eye out, and I'll post as I get to it and things like mask off, because it's really impossible when you have glasses to be able to see that way. So I'm not going to actually show you cutting this apart, but I will show you cutting these two apart because I did leave these two attached together. And that was all kinds of fun. So let me get my trimmer out for that point when we get to there. All right, let's switch to a big view, little view, except I want it the other way. Oops, not that way. Oh my goodness. I will get this figured out eventually. There we go. That's what I like. Unfortunately, I do have to look this way. I will try and remember to talk to the camera so you guys think I'm talking to you, because I am talking to you. If you're liking what you're seeing, please leave a comment. You can follow me on Facebook. You can subscribe on YouTube if that's something you want to see. I do plan on bringing you a new card class every Wednesday at 4 o'clock is where I'm scheduling it for now. If this isn't a good time for people, please, leave me that communication, and I can see about scheduling it at a different time if the majority of people are not able to make it. But in any case, even if you're not able to be here live, you can still put in that order using the host code or the link that takes you directly to my website, and should already have that host code present. If not, then during the checkout phase, you want to make sure and enter that host code. You also want to make sure that I can see your information. That's one of the things they're going to want to know is it okay to let me know how to get a hold of you? Because if I don't have that ability to see your information, then I will not be able to send you your card kit, because I won't have an address or even an email to contact you regarding your order. So if you are not going to allow me to have your information through the Stampin' Up website and you still want that card kit, you'll need to reach out to me directly. And I believe I'll still be able to see your name when you put in the order. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've had an order where there wasn't allowed contact information, but I'm pretty sure I can still see your name. So I would be able to at least trace it down, whether or not you made that purchase, so that I can get you this free kit if that's what you want. All right, let's go ahead and, in addition to the free with the free card kit with the $35 purchase, if you do purchase $50 in product before shipping and taxes, then I'll also send you an embellishment for free. Want something new from the catalog. If the bats and ghosts, the glow in the dark ones, are back in stock, then I'll go ahead and make sure it's that one. As long as I can get it anyways. Right now they are currently still out of stock. They've got our hands tied with this. Unfortunately, sometimes they are not able to predict just how popular something is going to be, and they do try and make sure they order for everybody, but that's not always the possibility. And like, I think the day that the catalog released, or within the first day or two, that item, as well as the glow in the dark paper, went unavailable. And we're currently looking at the 2nd of October, I believe, is when at least the embellishments are supposed to be in. So if you are going to be making your purchase, it's $150 or more. Just make sure you're shopping with me, Michelle Barnes, Harmony Stamps, and then you get to keep the reward. So don't enter a host code in that case. You will have the ability at $150, you get a $15 reward. You get 10% to choose in free product to go along with your order to be shipped directly to you. And you'll still get the free cards and embellishment from me. Awesome. Let's go ahead and get this started. I'm going to put these aside for the moment, and I'm going to bring out our first card. I have all the bits and pieces to go for it. And this is the card. It's basically got one of the skeletons. He's hanging out in the spotlight, doing a little dance, making it a little love, and he's on this this lovely little pattern with the bones, and inside it says no bones about it and your sweet friend, and then it's got the boo eek, which is the back side of this paper. So we're going to start with a regular card base. It is a 5.5 by 4 well, by 8.5. So basically you're going to score it at 4 1/4. So it's 8.5 across, and then cut it at 5.5. And then once you've got it scored, you're going to make sure that's folded quite nicely. Then you're going to need a piece on the inside. My pieces are 5 by 3.5. And by doing it this way, I get 5 of these interior pieces out of a single sheet of paper with just a couple of pieces left over. And then this is the cutout from that full sheet of paper. This is currently 6 by something. It is a bit big, so we are going to have to cut it down. I want it to be the 5.5, which is the length of the card, and I'm cutting it down. Looks like, well, let me get my ruler if I can find it. Ruler is currently MIA, of course, as we're expecting. Well, we'll figure it out as we go. I have it cut, so I'm keeping this edge exactly where it's at, and I'm keeping this edge exactly where it's at. So I know that I want to cut this edge and this edge, and I know I need it to be 5.5. So that's where I'm going to start. Make sure that's what I want to do. Yeah, that is what I want to do. All right, so I'm measuring out to 5.5 on my trimmer, and then I'm going to cut off that extra little bit down here, and that is not going to become the interior of this card because it's going in the wrong direction for what we're wanting, but that's okay. So this is the other side I want to keep, and I have it looks like at 3 7/8. All right, so now I've gotten myself just a teeny bit confused. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this down to 3 7/8. I know 7/8 is a little bit not fun, but that's what we needed to do. Oh yeah, I pre-cut the little bits to make sure I was doing it right. I was smart. All right, so now I'm going to cut that edge, and then we're going to use this on the interior of the card as well. And now I have my card base that's going to go the full length of the card and give us a little bit of an edge on each side of our cardstock base. I'm just going to go ahead and glue that down when I find my tape runner. There we go. Sorry, I've been doing a little cleaning on my desk, and unfortunately I forgot to put a couple more things back on it. There we go. Got it going. Doesn't need a whole lot of this seal. I do like to have some on each of the extremities just to make sure it's going to be a good sticking point. I'm going to line it up. I do need to stand to be able to see, and I keep forgetting I've got this big old camera apparatus right in my way. All right, so I want evenness on each side, and I want it to be flush with the top and bottom of my card base. Once I got it where I think I want it, I'm just going to let it there, let it sit, and I'm not quite happy. So I haven't set it down hard. And that's what allows me to pick it back up real carefully. And once again, I'm going to line it up on the top and then the sides. And there, I'm good with that. All right, now we need to cut our next bit. So I've got these two pieces, and I need this piece for the card we're doing now, and I need this piece for the last card we're doing today. Now these are 3 inches across. So I'm going to pull it to 3 inches, and make sure it looks like it's good in the channel, and it does. All right, so you can see I have a little bit of edging on both of those. I'm just going to quickly, while I'm here, take off just a hair on each side. I don't need that extra glue going on there. There we go. And then we'll do some more trimming on that when we get to that card, because I have to take some of the top and bottom off of that one as well. All right, so with the card that we did, I'm going to have my little skeleton hanging out there. And I'm going to go ahead and attach to the bottom of my interior card. I'm going to do a line of adhesive, my seal, and I'm going to attach, make sure it's in the right direction. This always just like, it felt like it was upside down because the bottom of the bee is smaller than the top, so it looks like it's upside down, but it is not actually upside down. I'm going to make sure and line this up really well with that edge on both, or the whole corner, and then the bottom edge across. Give it a nice little push down. Find my snips if I'm lucky. There we go. And snip that off on the edge right up next to that white cardstock. And then I have an extra piece that I may or may not use at a later time on a different card. I also, I stamped the No Bones About It in pumpkin pie. So I'm going to grab that out. And oops, let's not be throwing it around. I'm going to tap, 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 ink up my stamp. If this is the first time you're using this stamp, I would recommend stamping it off on some scratch paper a couple of times until you're sure it's stamping really well. And then I'm going to bring it up right about there and press, but not rock. And lift, and beautiful. Like it a lot. We're going to be using this again, but until then, I'm going to put it away because I do not want to have any ink catastrophes today. All right, let me pull off my stamp. I don't like leaving ink on it. Stains don't hurt, but I don't like them if I don't have to have them. And I did forget I should be using my little mat for that, but that's okay. I'm going to put some glue on this. Yep. And put it on the inside of the card. So I double check and make sure that that truly is the front, and it is. Do my standing and center this. So I look at the three corners and then kind of up and down. And I just sort of let it sit. And if I like it, good to go. Give it a nice little smoosh. And the interior is done and ready. All right, so for this, I'm going to use my Tombow glue, my multi-purpose Tombow glue. And I'm just going to turn this the right direction so that I don't actually do anything naughty with it. There we go, another piece I'm looking for. Give it a little bit of glue on the skull, a little bit on the back, a little bit on the pelvis. Give each hand and each foot a little bit, and do a really thin line on the limbs. You don't want too much because you really don't want it leaking out and oozing out, although this is Halloween, maybe you do. Might look very interesting. And I'm just going to grab my offset tweezers and place our lovely skeleton in the spotlight. And I like getting his foot actually on the floor because the other one is obviously raised. I'm going to do a little press down on the bits. And then I'm going to take the block that I stamped with and just press down on the entire image and give it a little bit of pressure to adhere that baby down. And then we're going to put some dimensionals on the back of him. With a item this big, I do like to put at least 6 dimensionals on, 1 in each corner, and 2 along the middle offset. There we go. And I'm going to grab up my backings. Oops, did that one? Yeah, there we go. Grab my backings off. I still can't believe Halloween is really just around the corner. Just over a month to go. And I'm going to be also doing this class with all of the cards I'm showing you today and Sunday live and in person here in Pueblo at the Ethos. You can go to their website and see. Now, the way I cut this, I made it so that the corners of this sit right there. So you have the bones sticking out. And there we go. One card done. Let me know what you think of that card. Is that fun or what? This paper is just so easy to work with in general. I love it when you get some good paper to work with. It makes it very easy and fun to make cards. All right, so let's work on the set of 3. So this is the first one of that set. Let me put the other 2 up for the moment. So this one is Rickety Bones, and he's just laying out and hanging out and doing his thing. And on the inside, we got his little doggy friend and that same No Bones About It stamp with You're a Sweet Friend. So this is really, really easy. I've got some Parakeet Party that was cut 5. No, it was cut at 4 1/4 lengthwise, and then so it was 4 1/4 by 11, and then scored at 5 1/2 to give you an up down fold. Okay. All right, let's leave that so we can see what we're doing here. I've already got, I've also got a black matte layer, which is, and again, we're back down to the 8s. In order to get this kind of really thin matte layer, you kind of need to do that. So this is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and this is 4 by 5 1/4, and it just fits quite beautifully in there. So we're going to go ahead and glue this to the matte layer. Pretty easy to do. That's what I love about these projects today, is they're all fairly easy to do. And again, I'm going to stand so I can get a good view of what's going on, especially with these really thin margins here when you're doing such a thin matte layer. But I think having that black just really pops the DSP on top of that Parakeet Party really nicely. So I think it's pretty important. And we're going to go ahead and attach that to the card base, because there's no stamping that's going to be happening. We're not going to have this as a raised layer. And again, I'm just matching up that top 3 corners and then double checking on the bottom layer and making sure I'm okay with it. And I am. All right, so let's go ahead and assemble our interior. Hold on. Oh yeah. So with the pumpkin pie, I'm going to put our little doggy down in the corner. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to go ahead and get my little mat, because when you're using the photopolymer stamps, it's useful to have a mat. And again, if it's the first time you've used the stamp, especially the photopolymers, but any of them really, go ahead and stamp it off on something else and just right down in the corner, full strength. Pretty, pretty. I do like that. And then let's get the memento out and our No Bones About It. And that's just going to go across the top. Tap a couple of times in our Memento Tuxedo Black. Make sure I got some good coverage, and I do. Line it up and set it down. I like to hold it in place a little bit just to give it some extra soaking time. I'm using that same shade and everything again very soon, so I'm just going to leave it there. And that gets to get glued into the interior. And there we go. All right. So lift it up, do our stand, and give our, there we go. Yep, looking good. Now the last thing we need to do is put our little skeleton. So when you cut the skeletons out of your DSP, most of them come out solid. And if you're using a solid one, then go ahead and cut him. I usually cut him right at this top little layer here and cut the hand off of the pelvic region. So it's kind of like he has been separated from his bones and is trying to get back to it. In this case, this was a partial from the bottom of it, and so it's in white. And then this was a different partial in the pumpkin pie-ish. And so I'm going to find my pumpkin pie blends. And I'm going to get out some scratch paper just to go under it in case I'm going off of him a bit. So I'm just going to use a sticky note here. I'm going to start with the light because I'm not sure, even if it's not a full, exact match, it's okay. So I'm just going to use the blends. I don't think they did any actual, shading, but if you want to, you're certainly welcome to. This is at this point slightly darker, but the blends do, as they dry, lighten up a bit too. So it'll probably be very close. And I'm using the light pumpkin pie. I think the dark pumpkin pie would be just a little too dark of a match to go with it. So I'm not going to worry about that. And there we go. Now he's much closer to his lower half. So part of him has been decaying faster than other parts. All right. I'm going to grab out my mini dimensionals because I'm going to need those for part of his body. And I also want the big ones, the full size dimensionals for his skull and his torso. All right. Now, the other thing you can do is use these edge pieces, or you can cut your minis in half. So those are your options for getting some thinner dimensional bits to work on the limbs. And they're so fun to work with because, especially with nails, it makes everything more fun to work with. All right, so I'm going to put that on his little hand. And I'm going to grab up the other guy and put it on his arm, if I can get it off of my snips. There we go. And then I'm apparently grabbing up this one with my hand, not intentionally. Or as they say in Monty Python, not dead yet. All right, we're going to go ahead and peel off the backings of those. And set him aside, turn the bottom over. And I'm going to do a mini dimensional on the pelvis and one on each of his heels. Yeah, that's too big. That's what I thought. So we will again do some dimensional surgery and do half of it on each heel. There we go. So there's one half, and then we'll grab up the other guy. And stick that on the other heel. There we go. Now we'll put those aside for now, and we will pull off the backing of this guy. The backing's already off of the other little ones. And then we're going to grab up our card, and we're going to arrange him on his grave. I think this is just hilarious. Rickety D, Ricky D, which is Rickety Bones. And in this case, I'm just going to sort of have him hanging out, still looking for his other arm bones, his humerus and all that fun stuff. But there we go. Our second card is done. And if you don't like the lighter colors, again, you can take the blends and darken them up to whatever you would prefer. Our second card is done. And again, when you're selecting your card kit, you're going to get one of these randomly. This is the other one, Rip Jack-o'-lantern and his trusty dog friend. And on the interior, I actually stamped one of him. Since he's not on the face of the card, get him down and put that up, and we'll grab up the bits. We'll start this time with the interior of the card. I'm going to get my pumpkin pie out. And I know this is the last time I'm going to use this stamp in this demonstration, so I'm just going to clean him off when we're done and put him away again. I just have him hanging out down near the bottom. And again, I'm just sort of putting that more bottom foot, the one that isn't tilted, kind of straight with the bottom of the card. Give it a nice little hold. While it's holding, I'm going to close up my pumpkin pie and lift off, and we are looking good. Clean my stamp up. So even if you're watching the replay, let me know. I'd love to know what you think of the cards that we're doing today. And I'm going to be putting together a mailing list soon. And with that mailing list, there'll be free tutorials each week of a single card in a PDF. So if that's something you're interested in, when I get that going, please subscribe to my email list and you'll receive that every week. Haven't decided a date on that, but probably Thursday or Friday for those emails to go out. All right, Black Memento, Tuxedo Black of the Memento ink, looking good. I'm gonna go ahead and cover it up, and nothing else to do with that except sticking on the interior of the card. So we're gonna get our little bits of glue down. Oh, come on, there we go. All right, so there's a trick to keeping that going. And sometimes I get it good, and sometimes I have to remind it who's boss and tell it to make the glue move. All right, happy with that placement. All right, so now I'm going to glue my Designer Series paper to the matte layer. And again, these I'm not raising up. But if you want to, with your own dimensionals, you're certainly welcome to do that. You can take these cards and make them your own in whatever way you want. Even if you're getting the free kit, you don't have to put them together the way I chose to. Nothing will be pre-stamped because that is against policies with Stampin' Up. But if it has to be die cut, it will be pre-die cut for you. And that's off a little bit. Let's see if I can get it up. There we go. I'm getting much better at peeling these off. Practice makes perfect. At first I was pressing them down far too easily and quickly. All right, there we go. That I like. All right. You won't get any glue with your card kit. It's just going to be the cardstock pre-cut for the cards the way I've designed them. And you're always welcome to come back here and watch the video again to remind you how to put it together. Or like I said, you are also welcome to make it your own. We call that casing. Copy and selectively edit, or copy and steal everything, or copy and share everything. A couple of different ways that you can go about it. And again, this guy was white and that guy was white. I think I'm going to stick with the white in this case. But if you don't want, you know, your pooch to be white, you're certainly welcome to give him a coloring job and get him the color and shade you would prefer. I'm going to put this on his head, and I don't think his little feetsies need any assistance for staying up. And I just kind of liked him walking away from the grave, especially given that underground in the grave, his buddy is on this side of the card. But I want him where he's basically on the grass with 3 of his paws. And there you go. Our third card is done. And this could be the one that you get in your card kit. It will be random unless you specifically request it not to be. And I have the ability to make your request be yours. All right. And one final card with this, basically, it's called a layout. And that's this guy. And so this time we have a cat friend hanging out on top of the tomb, along with Tomb Sweet Tomb and Creep It Real. And once again, he's up on the surface trying to find some missing bones, and his dog friend is down below hanging out, you know, doing guard duty, I guess you could say. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get our dog skeleton out again with our pumpkin pie. Tap, 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 and line him up right down there in the corner. And let's get our sentiment going. No bones about it. Nice. Let's cover our ink back up so we don't get ink on things we weren't intending to. There we go. And we're going to glue that to the interior. And get my seal and do my basic corners. And this is probably still more glue than I need. I'm working on being better with the glue because I tend to go a little overboard with the glue. I'm much more conservative with the dimensionals. But no sense in using more than you need to. Makes it go further and makes your dollar go further too. All right, we're going to go ahead and attach our DSP to the matte layer. Come along now. There we go. And sometimes it helps to have like a grid underneath. I haven't done that in a long time, but maybe I'll start doing that again. Actually, yeah, this is definitely the side I want. So this side, you can see a rougher edge from where I did the cutting. If that really bothers you, if all the edges are too rough, you can also take a basic emery board that you can get at any store, including, you know, thrift, or not a thrift store, but actually you might even be able to get them there. Convenience store, and just file it a little bit right on the edge. But I just make sure that the ones that are more rugged or they're showing more rugged are on the underside where you're not going to be seeing it. There we go. Come on, there you go. Stand up and put it on our card base. All right, happy with that. All right, so this time our little guy is still attached, and it looks like this one is the one missing the arm and on this set, and it was the other one on the other set. So we're just going to take, and like I said, right here on this little black spot at a slight curve, I'm going to cut over the pelvis line, and then I'm going to cut around the hip, get off a bit of this extra that I don't need towards the fingerage. And then we're going to get our dimensionals out. I'm going to put a mini on each hand. There we go. And a full-size one on his skull. And a mini on his chest cavity. There we go. And then I'm going to put looks like a full-size one on the base of the cat, the main body of the cat. There we go. And mini up on the head of the cat. And then we'll go ahead and pull our backings. Oh, I still have to do the pelvis. And the legs. Let's get a full mini on the pelvis itself. And a half mini on the feet. So I'm just going to use my offset tweezers. And there we go. And then I'll have to get this one that went flying in a funny way and stick him on this foot, right on the heel. And this guy's hanging out a little bit over. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and take the backing off of all of my dimensionals. And, oops, that dimensional is definitely being a stubborn one. Uh-oh, what happened to our kitty? Oh, there he is. Just hanging out. I know, it's so exciting watching me take dimensionals off, or backings off dimensionals. But that's what we got to do when we're crafting. So I had a really hard time figuring out where to put this cat. I knew I wanted the cat, but he looked really funny on the curved edge of this guy. But I suppose that would work too. And so I just kind of lined him up with this straight line here. But if you think he looks fine elsewhere, you put him where you want. And once again, I'm going to stick his little body bits, halves, in on the base of the card, hanging out on the ground as he's trying to get his body parts back together. And there you go. That is the 3 different cards. They're all on Parakeet Party card bases with a matte, basic black matte layer and a section of the scenery-based DSP with their lovely little interiors based on whatever story I wrote in my head for them. All right, our last card is going to look a little something like this, and it's actually using the Tricks and Treats stamp set for these different items. So this I cut down. Right now it's significantly longer than I want it to be, and but I wanted it to be centered, and so I cut a little bit off of each end. So let's see if I can determine exactly what size I cut him down to. So it looks like 4 and an 1/8 is what I did. All right, so 4 and an 1/8 when it's currently 5 1/8. So I need to take a 1/2 inch off of each side. That's pretty easy. That seem right? 4 1/8, 5 1/8. Yeah, 1/2 inch. All right. Now I'm getting a little nervous. Nope, that's right. 1/2 inch. So 4 1/8. Bingo. Well, it wasn't quite a 1/2 inch, but that's okay. I do need to take just a little bit more off of this edge because it's still got some of that blue on it. So let me get rid of some of that more. All right. Well, it's going to be on the black, so it's not going to be as obvious. All right. So this is just a piece of gorgeous grape cut to 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 specifically. And we have a very vanilla cardstock cut to, let's see, that would be 3 by 4. All right, and then this is a piece of black, and it is, let's see, 4 1/4, so it is 8 1/2. Yeah, 8 1/2 this way by 3 1/4, and scored at 4 1/2 for that piece. On the inside, all I did was attach this guy to the base. So let's go ahead and get that done. When I find my glue, there it is. Down across, do a nice line across the base of this piece of cardstock. Out to the edge, Michelle, out to the edge. And then I'm just going to line it up with the base and the edge of the card and trim off anything that needs trimming, which is not much. Actually pretty good on almost perfect size. All right, and then we're going to glue that to the inside of our black layer. Come on. So this is where you get to write your personal greeting and sign the card. You can also stamp happy birthday in here. I actually have some October birthdays that I'm going to be putting together some cards for, possibly even using these designs. So if you happen to know me and have an October birthday, you might be getting one of these cards. All right, now stand up and line up. And it is making sure I got some good, there we go. Not happy with that? I am. All right. And then we're going to glue this designer series paper to the top. Let me go ahead and just got a nice line already set up for this, so get the rest of that little edge off instead of having it be folded. There we go. That's much better. Interestingly enough, this and some of the other papers are Broncos colors. So if you happen to be in Colorado and are fans of the Broncos, you could turn these into some Bronco cards if you really wanted to. I actually have to create a Bronco inspired card for a friend's birthday for their brother-in-law. Oh, come on. Come on, glue. Behave. Ah, there we go. So they're celebrating that this weekend. So I get to spend some time figuring out a Bronco themed card, which is obviously going to have the orange and blue. Wow. There we go. Much better. All right, opening this way. So we're going to line it up here. And there we go. Very lovely. Actually, didn't cut it quite as much as I intended, but that's okay. So now that we have this, I know I'm going to want this much of an edge. I don't want to glue it down just yet because I want to make stamping what I want better. So we're going to start with our haunted house, and I'm using Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and I do really good tapping because, as you can see, the center doesn't have a whole lot of black on it just yet. So I really want to get that center with some ink on it to get a nice transfer of the image over to the paper. So now you can see we've got a decent. And I start with a castle. I didn't on the original, but I should have, because I want to make sure that everything else is in good alignment. So there we go. Set her down and lift it up. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Maybe. There we go. Well, here I'm just going to clean the other stamps since I'm done with those now. All right. Easier to clean before than after. Oh, I never did find the ink again, did I? I know it's here. One of the best laid plans that was having no, that's not ink. There's the ink. I found the ink. Has been found. We are done with the pumpkin pie, but I do want my gorgeous grape for the ink. All right, so the next thing I'm going to lay down is some bats. And as you can see on this one, I did 2. Let's see what I'm going to want here. So I like the idea of a flight of bats going that way. There you go. And a flight of bats going that way. Nice. I think that's enough bats. If you like more bats, you can put more bats on yours. But the bats are easier to stamp around than the ink if you don't do your stamping quite well in the beginning with fully understanding your layout, which is why my bats are a little bit on my ink. And my ink is, I started with the ink. I was actually trying to create a little background with the inks, but I didn't really care for it as much. So, all right, let's get the ink. Let's make sure the ink is going in the right direction so it's not upside down. I'm going to put one right here. Eek! Yeah. And one right here. Eek! And maybe one here between the bat flights. Eek! Nice. So with it being your card, you get to decide just how much eking you're going to do. And now that we have it stamped, I'm going to close up my stamp pad. There we go. And we're going to glue this panel down. I do like a little bit of extra glue on this one just because it's going to have to hold on this one piece of paper. So I'm going to give a nice stand up here and give myself a little bit of a layer on this side so that you have some of that. Make sure I'm really lined up well at the top. And when I like it, press down. And there we go. our third and final card. So if you really like these cards and you want to receive the card kit to make two each of 3 of these cards, go ahead and make that $35 purchase. It's very easy to do. It does need to be before shipping and taxes. And the link is either in the description or will be in, where did my first card go? There it is. It is either in the description or will be in the first comment of Facebook. So there's my little skeleton in the spotlight. And my 2 tombstones, my jack-o'-lantern, and my rickety bones. So again, these, you will get one of these 3 in your free card kit. Or if you're in the Pueblo area, you get to do all 4 of them, or all 3 of these, and 1 each of those 2, and 1 each of 3 others that I will be showing you on Sunday how to put together. This has been a really fun set to work with the different skeletons. I used the back sides of this paper and one of the other papers to create other bits. So the skeleton dies are pretty fun. They come with all kinds of fun things, so you can dress them up with, including some, boots and some hats and other fun things and bow ties. And so I used the leftover bits of this paper and a different paper to create why is my brain not working? The other bits to dress him up with. So some are in black and some are like that, which is pretty awesome and fun, and you'll get to see those. So thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear what you think of these cards, and feel free to leave a message. Feel free if you want some help putting your order in. I'm more than happy to help you with that as well. And it has been great. I will see you on Sunday with my recorded video, and I will be back next week on Wednesday with a new card class live. And yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed it. I certainly have had some fun putting these together and showing you how to put them together. And hopefully we will see you next week. Have a fantastic day.